Hey everybody, welcome back to Movies on Our Minds, guys. In this episode, we're going to talk about the long-awaited 14 years waiting sequel to the first movies, The Incredibles. This is The Incredibles 2. And I got some people here that been waiting just as long as me, right? We're all fans of the first Incredibles.
Indeed.
Yes.
Of course not. Nah, I am.
Okay, cool.
I was about to say.
I want to start off with introducing everybody. Ladies first.
I'm Jupiter.
Speak up, Jupiter.
Oh, I'm Jupiter. Okay, I'm Jupiter.
Okay, that's cool. What about you, sir?
I'm Wolfie, but you can just call me Wolfie by short. Yeah. Digital artist by day and hard worker by night. You don't need to know the rest.
Okay.
They call me Saturn. Also sexual chocolate. All that good stuff. Yeah. So Saturn, sexual chocolate.
For the record, I do not call any of them by those names. These are all new names to me.
He calls them
That's not really that new.
Jupiter's not.
Yeah, but
Come on.
Sailor
I'm Jupiter
Moon.
for like
Give me
3
the
years.
shirt.
That's what I thought.
okay. I want to just jump right into this, guys. Let's just start off. What do we think about the movie? You last.
Sexual chocolate.
I'm gonna start with Hannah.
Start with
Jupiter.
me. Well, I honestly think it was better than the first. I liked the fact that come closer to.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Baroque. These things need to be told to me.
There we go.
Okay. I like the fact. I like the what was the villain's name? It just slipped my mind. The screen slaver. Screen slaver. I liked
First person was a black guy.
the fact that they used a screen basically to enslave.
It was dope that they
First
used
person
real
was a black
world
guy.
stuff.
Yeah, I'm not that good at describing stuff. I'm not gonna even lie. But Elastigirl thick as hell, and Jack is
Yeah.
adorable. So there you go.
What about you, Myron?
I was iffy with the movie, to tell you the truth. The original is always going to be better than the sequel. That's usually like the thing with most movies out these days. But for me, I had a few problems with the character development. As for the villain, there it just kind of felt a lot obvious with some parts. Like let's say in the beginning opening when I don't want to tell too
before
much
we
about
get
the
to the
movie.
villain, we're gonna get. This is all spoilers, by the way. But before we get to that, because I'm gonna jump on that train with you about the villain. But just like overall, you just think that
overarching wise, it was great. The background characters that they had wasn't really well developed. Like the superheroes that was shown, they weren't really well developed. They kind of seemed like cartoonish to me. They did, compared to the main cast or any of the other superheroes like Frozone. If you look at these characters, they look like caricatures compared to them. They were more human and more grounded. These guys look like weird anime or weird cartoon exaggerated versions of humans. And that's what I saw.
Oh, okay, that's true.
What about you, Rai'Vaun?
I did not like the movie.
That's
Boo.
You found nothing entertaining about
It was nostalgic because of course it was 14 years. I was 13 or 12 or 11. Not telling my age. Anyways, so and then in the first I in 5 minutes I knew the exact story plot. I told the person that I went exactly what the movie was, what happened. It was so obvious. The story plot is just the reverse of what the first movie was. Mr. Incredible went out first and started doing this thug thizzle, then got saved by his wife and you know whatever. Then the kids came in, and this one, it was the wife who went out, got the new job being a superhero, trying to legalize it or not caring, whatever. And then the husband came in, and then the kids came in and saved the day. It was the same exact story, just told backwards. Right. So I didn't. It was some funny parts, of course. Everybody loves Jack. Love Jack.
that was the best
And
part.
Edna. I love Edna.
Everybody loves that.
I don't know. Jack gonna be Goku when he grow up.
Yeah, he better not be Gohan.
He's gonna
If he's
be
Gohan, I'll be mad.
Yeah.
If he turns out to be Gohan, I'm suing Pixar.
Not even Brad Bird, just Pixar.
He already has yellow hair, you know.
I'm suing them.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm
that's
suing
true. I didn't even know
them.
this.
Because Gohan was the biggest letdown in Dragon Ball of all time.
You were right about that. He was a big letdown.
Gohan, you suck.
He
Monkey
did
ball.
so well when he got to Super Saiyan 2, and after that, he just dropped off.
Bruh.
To get back to Incredibles.
Yeah, let's get back to Incredibles. We can draw this whole thing out like, yo, pause this. And we going to Dragon Ball? Look, let's do it.
I agree with kind of like all three of you, but I'm going to go between you two for a second because I do not think it's nowhere near as good as the first one. First one to me is grounded. The thing that's so great about Pixar is that it's made for kids, but it's written for the adults in a way. Like when you watch the first Incredibles or Inside Out, these are things that will go over a kid's head because you'll have the action and the animation to distract them. But story-wise, this is something that adults can relate to more than anything. So that's what I was expecting going into this one, because for this to be 14 years until we see a second movie. Brad Bird himself said, I will not come back to Incredibles unless I can find a story that's as good as the first. And I hate to say it, but this is kind of disappointing. This is what you feel as if as good as the first. It's still enjoyable in some parts. This is more comedic than the first one. I actually did have a few more laughs in this one, especially when Jack was with Edna after one night. Then him just walking down the hallway with a lollipop, you know.
I love that one.
Like
the part where he was using it to scan the door to open it. That one.
Again, all that after one night. Or simple things like when Bob was dropping him off and he was like things that he was doing wrong. When he said we needed AA batteries, but I got AAA and we still need AA. You know, it's just simple things like I understand that struggle and feeling, but that did not go to the story like it did with the first one. And that was the problem I had with this one. This, to me, honestly, the overall issue I have is really the villain. The villain is what brought this down. It could have been just as good as the first one. It could have been on par, but like you said, the villain was. We knew that from the beginning who it was, and it was.
Yeah, she was like a heroin addict.
Yeah, like she was too out there. Like
you could see it under her eyes, the blackness under her eyes, the sinister square jaw that she had.
What sealed the deal was when they told the story about the parents and the heroes.
That's what I'm saying. That
didn't seal the deal to me. That just like started it off. Like when she first said, or mom and dad just went to the cellar, you know. So that's like crumbs. Simple thing as a filmmaker, if you notice, like when they were saying that they had cameras embedded into their
thing. I was like, I see this coming back.
Yeah, and then she was like, yeah, we got it just for you. And Helen looked back and she like nodded to her. I was like, okay, so they're gonna have something going on soon. But what really, really sealed it to me is the scene to where he took it off and it was a pizza guy's like, oh, where are you? Or, I mean, not where are you? Who am I? And then her line, literally, the dialogue they gave her, it's okay, I'm just the genius behind the genius. Mm-hmm. You might as well look at the camera and just wink.
The fact that she was a genius was a problem in and of itself.
Yeah, so it was just like, come on. So at that point, it's like, okay, fine. If she is going to be the villain, let's at least look at her motives. You know, what makes her the villain. If you go back to the first movie, why I love Syndrome so much is, for one, there was no plot twist. It was just a simple thing as you don't want to ever meet your hero because it may not live up to their expectations. Mm-hmm. And because he was so hurt, he had 15 years to create his own thing, you know, to create his palace, all these weapons. And then his goal on top of that, at the end of it, which I just love, he said at the end, when I'm older and I have my fun, I'm going to sell my invention so everyone in this world can be super. And when everyone's super,
nobody's weak.
That is so brilliant. So with her, it's like, okay, so what's your end game? And then she was basically hurt because her parents didn't make it there, which is one thing, but that's not the super's fault. That's, to me, like...
Well, that's everybody always blames the supers. Even in Captain America: Civil War, like, you can't save. It's literally impossible to save everybody. You're mad because we saved the world and your son. Granted, if we could have saved everybody, we would have. But there's going to be some casualties. You can't blame us because if we didn't do anything, the whole world would be dead.
But they can't blame us.
I don't think she disliked superheroes specifically because of that. I think it was just the fact that she was afraid that superheroes were going to make humans weaker in general. She was afraid that humans were going to end up relying on superheroes and they wouldn't do their part to, play it safe and, take care of their families.
I mean, you're doing that with police. Police are superheroes. Firefighters are superheroes. They just don't have superpowers. You know what I'm saying? So you're still,
You're depending
no matter
on
what
them.
we do, if you get into an accident, you're calling the police, you're calling a lawyer. Those are you. And if you want to be real, those are your superheroes.
But
You're relying on them.
The thing is, before the police or the firefighters come, you have to ultimately make a decision what you're going to do to be safe in that moment. And what he did was he went straight. He didn't go, the father I'm talking about, he didn't go and like make sure everybody was safe before he made the phone call. He just went straight
to the phone.
To the superheroes.
Yeah, I see where you're going with that though.
Yeah.
But is it still worth it to like come up and to scheme all that just so you can make superheroes illegal?
It just-
I mean,
And
plus
obviously she has some mental issues. I mean, her
It doesn't
her
seem like it
parents
was worth it
died.
story wise, just for that
It was just plot
sad
convenience.
thing. It doesn't seem like it was the purpose of this was to make a story out of this. It doesn't seem like they should have did that, like a story out of that reason, because it kind of seems simple and not that fluid.
Especially if you didn't get any backstory into these characters.
I mean,
we have
she
no
was mad
backstory.
at her father. Think about it. She was mad at her father, and her father loved superheroes. Her father is the reason why her mother died, because she died of a broken heart, quote unquote.
Something else that somebody pointed out to me though, that makes this a cool superhero movie. But is it when Elastigirl, she goes off to do her superhero, isms and everything, fight crime and save the day. But then you have Bob staying at the house, also being a superhero in a way that he wasn't prepared for, didn't even expect, which is by raising his kids, still being together as a family and everything. What do you think about that aspect of the film? Like, does that still go that goes like Pixar writing for adults, even though this is shown for kids?
I liked it because he realized that he cannot be incredible at everything. He is just a father trying to get his job done, trying to be perfect, at least near it, so that his children doesn't get screwed up later in their lives.
And you don't have to smash everything. That was one of the biggest things too. She had more of a finesse when she saved the world, and more of she had more of a thought process and plan of attack than him. He just jumps in and try to rip everything apart.
But I feel like he can't really help that, because his power is super strength.
Yeah, but sometimes you don't have to use all your strength.
Elastigirl's not that strong though.
But
She has to think.
Because he learned, because he stayed with his children. He learned from his children how to be more flexible in that environment. He's pretty much become a person who doesn't crush and smash things, and you saw that later on in the movie when he was pretty much the fighter. He didn't destroy things unless that only the part where he got the goggles on, the little goggle thing. He was pretty much smashing, but other than that, he was doing things more calmly, more delicate. He wasn't destroying or smashing anything. Only the enemies around him was smashing.
Yeah, like when the dude crushed the thing.
Yeah,
he was like, "Yo, uncrush it." But he could have easily broke through it, but he's like, "Okay, if I
really could have gone
If
through
he
that.
did, he
probably would have
destroyed
sunk the ship. Yeah, it probably would have sunk the
See,
ship.
he's thinking more. Because if he destroyed the ship while all his children and everybody else is on there, it would literally ruin everybody else, because all the ambassadors was on there. They all get killed. If they all get killed, then he's pretty much screwed, because they would literally make that law illegal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it bother y'all that they only wore the super suits at the very beginning and the very end of the film?
I really wanted to see it a lot more.
I don't like that it was just a flip of the first movie.
That's all it was to you?
Bro, as soon as the movie, within 5 minutes, not even within, it's probably before that, I said, bro, I know who the villain is. I know who the villain is. And then I told you when that line, "my parents died," I said, well, that's it. The only thing that I was wrong on was I thought the brother and sister were in it, but just the sister. It wasn't until her and Elastigirl had the conversation when I realized it was just her.
Speaking of her in the conversation with Elastigirl, did y'all pick up that they said in Disney Pixar, they said the words hell and damn, and they were actually drinking alcohol?
I saw that they were drinking alcohol.
When he was chasing after his little brother Jack and he went through the wall, he actually cursed right there.
Did he? Are you sure?
I heard the S word. I heard shit.
I don't know if he said that.
I heard it was like subtle. It was like he's like.
I heard hell because she said promote the hell out of it. Put a big huh in that hell. And then
it was like on the ship when he was running after Jack.
I know you're talking about
Jack
when he hit
was
the
about to
wall.
go through the wall.
Yeah,
and
but
he
I don't think
cursed.
he said that. No, it was that, and then the part where she said I'll be
Maybe
damned.
shoot.
Which I actually laughed at because when she said that part, I was like, no, don't make us think that it's not her just because Screenslaver's on the screen and she's right there.
Mm-hmm.
No. They're going to pull a Scooby-Doo 2 on us. If any of y'all know that reference.
Yeah, I know.
No.
No one else?
The first one.
No
was
one
horrible.
watched Scooby-Doo 2?
I haven't seen it in a long time.
It's
so I
fine.
haven't.
Thank you, Myron, for understanding. But yeah, so I thought that was kind of funny. But no, that kind of bothered me that they said Helen Dan because for one, you didn't have to, and two, why did you go that far? That's the first time in any Disney Pixar film. That to me that's important. It's there for a reason, and for this to be the 19th film, why now? Because you do such a great job with writing for adults to where you don't need to go that far as to curse or to say, or to have a drink or something like that. I think there may be a couple movies where they do have a drink, but you don't actually see them consume the alcohol. It could be one to where it's like you may be looking too far and nitpicking, but it's just something to where it's like I noticed so much to where that threw me off. But I don't know if that caught your attention.
Nah, it didn't really bother
Not
me.
really, because
really
everybody knows the movie was made for us. It wasn't made for the kids.
That's
it was
why
made
it's
for
14
us.
years in the making.
Exactly.
We're adults
Exactly.
now.
It's no longer for. It's no, and that's not even trying to be funny. It's literally not for the generation right now.
They wouldn't understand.
14
it anyway.
years
I
ago.
mean, kind of. They talked about feminism and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's 14 years. It was definitely not made for them.
Okay, so my question is, was it worth the 14-year
No,
wait?
it wasn't. No.
I mean, I don't care if it was the greatest movie alive. It would not be worth the 14-year wait. We don't have
Some
to.
movies
No.
are worth.
Nah,
Toy Story
no.
3 to me was worth the wait because they actually kept up with the timing of it. That's for one. For two, the story was phenomenal. Quentin Tarantino said that was the best movie of 2010.
What? I did
'Cause it
not
was.
like Toy Story 3. I don't remember anything about Toy Story 3 except
Remember the one with
for
the evil
I'm
Care
your
Bear?
father. That was it. Dude, I was like, Zorg? No,
Emperor Zurg. Toy Story 1.
Whatever.
2.
I didn't like it. The first one, of course, is amazing. The second and third one, I don't remember. It was so... It went in and out.
I wasn't a fan of the second one, but I like the third one. I like the first and the third one. I wasn't really a fan of the second one because it just kind of felt real.
We're gonna leave now from this conversation.
Yeah, from Toy Story. Cause
We don't touch Toy Story. It's perfect.
Anyway,
Anyway.
hey, it's gonna be perfect in Kingdom Hearts. I'm good. I'm good with that.
Yeah. But to go back to this, is it worth the 14-year wait because of the story that we got?
No.
No.
Do you think we could have had this in
It
like
just
3
feels
years
like
after
they
the
was-
first?
Could have had
Look,
6 months
the
after.
longer that they wait
No.
and the worse this movie actually gets, it hurts a lot more in the end. Like when you're looking at it and you're like, this
You
is what I
have
was
14
waiting
years
for.
of preparation. There's
14
no way in
years.
the world that this story was not superb.
The artwork was phenomenal.
Like the action
story,
scenes.
The story
amazing.
itself, even
The motorcycle scene was amazing.
Yeah.
But
it has some great parts.
But when it comes to the story, it's like it's not a heavy hitter. And I'm looking around, like I'm turning around and see the whole entire crowd clapping. I'm trying to figure out like it wasn't that great.
Yeah?
It wasn't-
14
It wasn't
years. If you want to
clapper.
wait that long, you got to give me an Avengers Infinity War.
I mean, like
That's what you have to give me.
I mean, like Deadpool came out and that didn't take that long.
taking
That
a
was
lot
like
to
freaking
Toy Story.
hilarious.
Yeah.
That's my...
Avengers,
I don't
if I'm gonna wait that long, I need something on the scale of Infinity War. Infinity War, from the first movie to this one, if anybody said they don't like that
Iron Man
movie,
all the way
they need
over.
to get slapped.
Okay, so I have a question then. Would you have preferred it if the story did not take place right after the first? Like maybe some time has gone by? Not too much time.
I still want Jack Jack to be Jack Jack.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I want to see what he looks like when he's older. What if he like controls all of
What do you think
powers?
But then that movie would be too crazy.
I mean, like at the end of the first, at the end of what's it called this movie that came out, it would have been great to see how Jack would be.
Nah, because you know why? I think it took 14 years to make this movie. You have Jack Jack that has powers. We've only seen a few of his powers. Edna, if you remember, Edna said he showed over I think 20 something powers.
He has random. His ability is pretty much random power.
Imagine Jack Jack. His whole movie. If it's a movie about Jack Jack growing up, his whole movie is gonna be about plot convenience. Because
You got a point there.
he's gonna be able to do. He can do anything. He can go into different dimensions. He
fix
can catch
any
fire, catch a
problem
monster.
that happens in the movie.
He's literally
It's like Ex
unstoppable.
Machina right
Why
there.
did they give Jack Jack the controller?
He didn't.
The
They
kids.
did, and he broke it.
Why did he have that?
That's what I'm trying to
What are you
figure
talking
out.
about? What do you
When
mean?
he
Plot
broke it, he
convenience.
became so big
Yeah.
And he was pushing on the remote, and then he broke
Smashed
it.
it with his
I was like, why
fingers.
did y'all give it to him in
Wait,
the first
what was
place?
happening there?
He kept on going
It
to
was in the
Were they
vent.
being
It was
attacked?
No, I'm talking about
vents.
when they were in the kitchen and the crusher came. He crushed. They were in the vents.
Yeah, and he was crushing the vents, and he decided to get bigger. While he was tapping on the screen, he destroyed the screen, and then he fell on them and crushed them.
I think they were trying to keep him quiet.
Oh, quiet, yeah. They were trying to keep him quiet.
But you don't
I just
even
about
say-
the
if you keep
remote.
him quiet,
Yeah, that shows him his powers. And
Yeah,
how
like,
they
I
control-
think they were trying to get him to be quiet and
You
get
ever seen a
distracted.
baby?
But if you think about it as the writers, like why the writers would do it, they has to have some sort of reason because you destroyed the thing that keeps him under control. His physical powers under control.
But
And then
I don't keep him under control, though.
But
But they at least know, they as the kids know how to control him the best way. They know, like they know what power is coming. They knew where to find him when they lost. So it's just like
heads up.
yeah.
You know?
So I'm on board with Shu on that. Like the writers had to come
So
up
at
with
the
something.
end, for some reason, he was able to shoot lasers when they asked, or do all this other stuff when they asked, and he didn't teleport into a random area whenever he felt like it at the end after he destroyed the talent. I don't understand what that was about. Like, it made no sense.
So yeah, that. And if you want to like even keep nitpicking, this is the last. Maybe not, but this is the last nitpick that comes to my mind for now. The scene to where Helen, because this I've seen it 3 times. When Helen shot the girl out of the plane, and then she captured her, and then she turned it into a parachute, and then they cut to a scene, and then they cut back, and then that's when she kicked him off, and then she was trying to grab her again, and then Void was like, "Hurry up, make a shoot, make a shoot." I thought she already made a shoot. You just didn't get her the first time.
Yeah, the Void. She was. Like, I feel like they couldn't make her mind up with her character. Like she was trying to be scary, like Violet was in the first movie about her powers. But literally, all you making is voids. Like literally, all you got to do is make a circle. And then make a circle come out right here, so when she slid in front.
That's what I was thinking.
Well,
like,
she's a little quirky.
Stop teleporting her
Yeah, but
everywhere.
they did every when she was. Okay, another thing that I hate is when you become evil, you use your powers differently. So when Void became under the screenslaver, she was making little things happen everywhere. Like she was making Miss Incredible, what's it, Elastigirl hit herself in the face. So you telling me you can't create a void in the sky and then make it come out
But
right
it
here?
eliminated her personality.
Yeah, I was about to say,
Those goggles eliminated her.
Yeah, she was
Yeah, but you still know what you gotta
Yeah.
do though.
She wasn't.
No, but she was
focused.
like
she was
focused.
under control by somebody else. The other person was using her powers. She wasn't actually using her powers. So that wasn't her personality.
Even still, like it's your power. Like I don't.
She doesn't know how to use her.
In
own
my
powers.
mind, that doesn't even take logic. That just takes. Okay, if she's falling and I make another one come this way, she's gonna splat. So if she's falling, I go like this, and I make one come this way, she's gonna come this way.
It's clear that she has anxiety,
Yeah.
and anxiety messes a lot of things up. I can tell
it
that
was
firsthand.
But she shouldn't be a superhero if she has anxiety.
She's not-
Because
she's
that
not
is
really-
a detrimental feature or feature when you're dealing with saving people.
I mean, but
you
she's
can end
not
up
really
killing a lot of people.
She's not really a superhero. She's just kind of a person that has
she a newbie?
superpowers. She was a newbie. She was invited because even though she's not a superhero. Okay, she's not a superhero. She feels that she fit in more with them because she's a person who has supernatural abilities.
But tell me this: would you not? I don't. In my mind, I can't empathize with the fact that you couldn't think to do this. Do.
She just needs to practice. She couldn't even talk to Elastigirl right. Of course she can't. She's like, oh my gosh, I have to use my superpower. She couldn't even say hi to Elastigirl. She's like, I love. Like,
You know who she reminds me of a YouTuber, like an awkward YouTuber. That's what she reminds me of. Just watching a YouTube video of a awkward YouTuber, and that's what she reminds me of.
And then they made these off-brand superheroes. The Barf dude,
Acid
Reflux.
Acid
Yeah,
Reflux.
I didn't like any of them because, like
The
you
names
pointed
were
out,
dumb.
They're too cartoonish, especially if you compare it to the first one, like Gazer Beam and Fironic or something like
He's
that.
an electric guy. That guy, when I first saw him, his face like
Oh, another LGBT.
Like,
Why you say that?
Because the Shocker or the electricity guy, he was gay.
he was gay.
You remember when he was? Oh yeah, I just shock everything. You know?
Yeah.
So it's just like
maybe he's just flamboyant.
Maybe.
I mean, he's probably gay.
This went come from a conversation we was having earlier about
queer baiting is called.
Yeah.
Where they
Queer
try to get
anybody
from the LGBT to come in to see their movie, so they actually bait these little things in there.
But it was just something that we noticed. I will say one thing that also I did notice. This isn't really something that bothered me so much because it's like this is for the movie, but the goggles are really easy to come off.
Yeah.
Really easy.
So it's like when the kids were fighting them and Frozone and everything, it's like just go for the goggles. Y'all guys.
Wait. I have a question though. This what pissed me off about Violet.
Emo Violet.
Violet was tearing them up for a second, and every time she would knock them out, she would not take the goggles off of them.
Not one time.
But she knew what the goggles did.
Not one time.
Even when she knocked out Boyd and she was down, Violet ran away like, you don't want to go get those goggles?
I thought the same thing too. I was like,
Why
right
did you
there.
take the goggles off?
Only
You had a force field around them and or you could have did that.
You know,
the force field around the goggles.
It showed a new power in the beginning of the movie, and she never uses it again. Where she did like these psycho blades, and it's like it shot over.
Oh,
it.
yeah.
That was awesome. Why did they never use it again?
That's for the movie purposes. Elastigirl was the only one that was smart enough to know everything. Like when the screensaver was doing her thing, she turned, it's hypnotizing everybody. I can't look. Ever since that, and then when Jack used the goggles to come off a little bit, she knows, goggles. Like nobody knows. Not even the kids knew that, even when they saw them put the goggles on Frozone.
You just brought up another thing. What irritated me again was after you knew that the goggles was what was controlling people, when you got the pizza guy, and as soon as he took the pizza the goggles off, he's like, "Who am I? Where am I?"
You got a point.
And in my mind, I'm like, you just saw this twice happen before on the plane and the helicopter,
and I thought that was weird.
And
too.
I'm like, you didn't think to this dude was like, "Yo, where am I?" He's definitely not thinking about him doing whatever the screenslaver did or told him to do. So in my mind, I'm like, "Yo, you didn't think twice about that. You let this man go to jail, and you know that you can't remember anything. I would at least question him or something.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me?
Like every single conductor that was out there, like the conductor in the train,
so basically they did not
using helicopter.
They did not really explore the mask. They didn't really use that as evidence or anything like that. Like when they didn't search it.
No, because remember,
that's
had it.
Exactly. I'm saying that's what they did not do.
You know what they should have done? They should have had a backstory for her, like for how she gained the power, like how she learned how to do the hypnotism, or how she became. It could have been something
like Syndrome. I would have been perfectly fine as long we know who the villain is and give us a good motivation. That's all we got from the first one. That's why he was a great villain. We
didn't even know he was going to be the villain at first. When we first saw him, he just got shot out of the car. We thought that was the end of him.
Yeah.
We thought that was the end of him.
But we just see her right there.
Actually, when he flew and he had the bomb on his cape. In the first movie, he was a kid, and then
but we didn't know that he was going to
we thought it was going to be over with him.
Okay.
And then you see
we didn't know he was going to come back as Syndrome.
Then you see that woman, and I thought she was going to be the villain at first.
Right. So, what are some parts in this movie that you actually genuinely like?
Jack. Anything with Jack and Edna.
What about the scene where Violet with the water through her nose at the restaurant?
Oh, that was
hilarious.
Yeah.
Bob did some great job. I mean, the movie, I think the reason why it wasn't good is because I felt like it was just a flip on the first movie, and we waited 14 years for something that you could have done in 6 months. It wasn't like I was expecting it to be one of the greatest movies of this year. It had all the anticipating. Yeah. I'm like, yo, this is about to be crazy. I wonder, it's 14 years. They have to come up with this story has to be so complex and so crazy that it's gonna be like, that was totally wicked.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I
well, the 14 years wasn't only because of the writing on the story. It was mainly because of the animation. So when they did the writing first, it was 1 to 2 years. Mm-hmm. The rest was the 14 years. It was the leftover, the 12 years.
Still, the story.
So they didn't really do much on the story.
It was still horrible. The story was not. It was not. I'm highly disappointed in the story. The story was just. It was like, bro.
I'm mad the mole guy got away.
Same here.
I think that's gonna be in the third.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna be the third one.
I guess it has.
Are y'all kind of excited for the third?
No, I'm not.
I liked it. Cause I think that y'all don't like it because y'all just be thinking too deep into it.
Nah,
just enjoy the movie.
I don't like being able to tell what's happening. If I call my friend that I brought, it was not even 5 minutes in the movie, and I said, bro, I'm done with this movie. He's like, why? That's the bad guy right there. And he was like, "No, it's not." I said, "I could put any amount of money. That's the bad
I wish
guy
I was
right
sitting
there."
next to you too, because I said that
you
to
would've
my
hated me.
no. I said that to my friend next to me, Caitlin.
Okay.
Yeah, so I said I need you to hear. I don't talk through movies, but I need you to hear me now, so you can be my witness at the end of this. Because again, they made it too obvious. Like Brad Bird
story.
It needs to be surprises, and there wasn't any real surprise.
Nothing at all. It was
okay. Well, so at the end of this, Rai'Vaun, what would you get this out of 10?
a 4.
Don't be cruel.
I'm being cool about it. I would give it a 4. Me, I wouldn't pay to go see it again.
If you could describe this movie in one sentence.
In one sentence, I can
Or
give it
one word.
Disappointing.
Damn. I wouldn't say it was that bad.
What?
It was still enjoyable moments in there.
It was
anything
enjoyable
with Bob
moments.
and Jack and Dash.
You're telling me the 4 was just like the enjoyable moments, because there was a lot of enjoyable moments.
Dude, no.
At least give it a 5.
That's only the 4.
least
That's the
halfway.
only reason why it has a 4. Like, I couldn't.
What about
it was
you,
too much.
Myron? What would you give it?
For me, I give it a 7, and the reason why I give it a 7 is not because the story takes away the 3 points, but everything that happens in it, like the action scenes, the animation. I'm an animator / artist, and seeing that up on camera is amazing. You know, it's well done. The voice acting is perfect. It matches the lip movements. All that into one movie, bundled up into one movie, and it's like what the movie was about 2 hours long.
Almost
like yeah, the story may not have been the best, but animation wise, I would say that I understand why that took 14 years.
Yeah, I don't know.
You got to
about
give
that.
it.
They have many other Pixar films that they had 2 Car sequels before Incredibles.
2 Cars
2.
sequels.
Exactly.
Cars didn't do as much particle effects or how much detail.
What?
Cars did not.
What?
Well, Inside Out.
Inside Out, I would say kind of, because they use the little balls and it's like
Emoji Movie.
Well, that's not Pixar.
It
Thank
doesn't
God
matter.
it's not
It's still a animation. It's
and
still
it
the
always
same
depends
process.
on the engines that they're using and the software that they're using to make these
It's
things.
not an excuse for me, bro.
What about you, Hannah? What would you give it out of 10?
I'd give it a hard 8.
Hard 8.
Yeah,
8.
I think it was good. I mean,
Okay. No, I can't accept
I mean,
Tell me
man.
why. Tell me why it's an 8.
I mean, the animation was beautiful. I feel like everybody got
Definitely
their time
was
to
beautiful.
shine. Bob showed a lot of character growth.
He did.
Elastigirl, she got to be,
Thick as
up front. Yeah,
Yep.
she was thick, but I was like, damn.
Hey, she also learned not to be like the head of everything and trust her
And
husband.
Exactly, and she got her time to shine because she was always under, under Mr. Incredible.
You
But
could have
even
got your
before that,
time
she
to
wasn't really
shine,
out there.
but don't give me the same exact story told backwards.
What kind of story would you have wanted from
Yeah.
Incredibles 2?
I wanted to tell. Look, I thought this movie was gonna hit me with something that
Never seen before?
I couldn't guess it. I couldn't. Okay, the last movie that I watched, and Baroque knows, I can guess. It's very rare that I see a movie that I can't guess the plot. The last movie that I couldn't guess the plot in was Den of Thieves. I did not see the end coming.
well, can you really judge it based on that? Because obviously you're good at guessing plots.
Yeah, but that's because I think people lack creative juices, because a lot. That's why they got a lot of the old shit coming out, like Superfly and all this, because people they're not trying to be creative anymore.
Yeah, I
They're
kind of
trying
already
to be lazy.
I can already tell what Ocean's 8 was going to be about.
Yeah, it's about women
It's on the-
empowerment.
No, it's literally on the poster. It literally tells you who is one of the 8th one, because they only have 7 of them, and it shows you who the 8th one is.
Yeah, and then but I think what we're moving into right now, and there's nothing wrong with it, but it's going to be 2 parts to it. So don't take offense to anything I'm about to say.
I don't take offense.
So
to nothing.
I think we're moving into a woman empowerment era right now, because now they're even talking about doing a all female Marvel movie with Black Widow and all those people.
Not to mention DC with the Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy.
Exactly. So the women empowerment thing, I'm not mad at it, but the thing that a lot of people, a lot of writers and directors have an issue with is portraying women as strong but not masculine. Because when you're trying to be a woman that's when you try to make a woman empowerment, you try to make it to where it's unattainable. Like you make somebody a woman that has no real struggle, and that's
And this is what you're getting from The Incredibles too.
That's what I'm getting from all the movies that are about to be about all this the women empowerment. I love women empowerment. I think women are more strong than men, but the way that they portray them in movies, they make them untouchable. Like
That's funny. That's exactly what Tony Reidinger said at the beginning of The Incredibles.
He
I
did?
love my woman strong, you know.
Yeah, but not manly. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They're giving them. I feel like they make them feel like they have to be like men in order to be strong. But women are strong in their own way. But I feel like they haven't accomplished that in a film in a very long time. Being a woman and being strong as a woman instead of being a man. Okay, perfect example. One of the reasons why Prop Mary did horrible is because it's a horrible movie. Period.
They were trying to pretty much do a
That
what's
movie
called 007 kind of thing.
That movie was horrible. That movie sucked. That movie was horrible on so many levels. But Taraji, I feel like she's a man. She's a man in woman form. I like that's not. No, I don't see a woman
So
like that.
do you think Elastigirl was manly?
No, I think they tried to overpower her character though. They tried to make
she
her.
was completely different than Mr. Incredible. They shine on how she
agree with
processed and how she used logic versus you know.
But
being
she wanted
like
to
Hulk
be
smash.
I feel okay. So the reason why I said that is because from the first movie, it was all about Mr. Incredible. Now this movie is all about her doing her thing. Yes, she had those qualities, but there was some moments where it's like, to me, I was like, she just wants to.
What did she want to do?
She was still
I'm trying
being
to say,
feminine. Like, look how she was
Yeah,
reacting when she thought things were going wrong with Jack. She was like, "I'm coming home right now."
Yeah.
Like,
That's
she was
the
still a
controlling
woman.
part of it. That's I'm trying to put into words where I can
She isn't.
Get
She
you
is
the-
controlling. That's
get
true.
you to understand. Just come back to me. Let me ponder on this so I can articulate myself the right way. Because I kind of
I guess I'll give you my rating then.
Go
in the
for it.
meantime.
Oh yeah.
I would give it a 7 out of 10. I would agree with you with the fact, for me, the villain is really what brought it down to me because of how much I loved him in the first Syndrome, and I have expectations for Incredibles 2. When you have 14 years to come up with the sequel, and for the director and writer himself to say, I'm not coming back unless I can come up with something that does better than the second one, and this is what it is.
You shouldn't have came
he
back.
missed.
Yeah, he missed.
He
me,
missed.
so-
He J.R. Smith us.
Damn.
He J.R. does. That's what he
He
did.
should have had some like somebody spectating this like prior to it coming out.
Yeah.
and then give.
But
it
they
up.
all do that though.
Yeah, but he should have had more. Not just like
Okay,
a small
so
percentage.
back to the question you said. How would you change the movie? Or you like the movie? You give it an 8.
Yeah, I mean, how would I change it?
How if you
I would
had
change
14 years?
I already told you how I'll change it.
If you had 14 years, would your story be even similar to this? What would your story be? If you could think of one.
You have to give.
Going based off of their story, I would try my best to make the villain just not as obvious because it was
Yes.
they even made her look villainous.
But you
Yes.
you still gave the movie an 8 though.
I mean, because movies can't be ruined for me
You still
by
had a good time,
predictability.
right?
I like
You
movies.
enjoyed it.
I enjoyed
You had
it.
a fun time at the
Predictability
theaters.
doesn't ruin movies for me.
You know what they should have
It
did?
doesn't.
That.
It doesn't, but it doesn't. Like somebody could tell me the whole movie and I can go watch the movie and
That
still
was
like
the
it.
So
Experience.
you would
Yeah.
keep okay. So you would keep the story the same, but make the villain more covert.
And I would probably try to make her a little bit more powerful. I would try to make her very strong, you know, like not just so. It was just too easy to just knock the glasses off and stuff like that,
Right.
you know, or the goggles or whatever.
Right,
like
right.
I would have made it make more sense. Like it was. I don't know, maybe a strap on the goggles.
I know, right?
Something.
Well,
Yeah.
that you have to like hit on that it's on my person that I can only release it from like you know what I'm saying.
Exactly.
You know
like,
what I would have
it-
did? You know what I would have did? This is what I would have did. I would have made the movie more of a family thing instead of a separation because it's called The Incredibles, but you barely see The Incredibles.
Which is why
you
I
see
said
the father and sometimes the children, and then you see the mother, but she's like off on her own thing.
Which is exactly why I asked. Does it kind of bother you that you only saw them in their uniforms as a
At
family at
yeah.
the very beginning
At the
with the
beginning.
Underminer and at the end at the boat? That was it.
That was the problem, and it's like there wasn't really that much time to implement that. Yes, they do need to work on the villain, but they also need to work on the family dynamic. Yeah, they should have a small separation time so that they could both learn that doing each other's jobs is hard,
In its
but you
own
learn
sense.
from it. And then from there, they should have did the whole family thing majority throughout the film, and they should have brought them in the limelight where the villain should have came like brought them into the limelight, making them think that they're actually doing something good, but they don't know because her story is pretty much hidden still. We don't know much about her at all until we get near the end where she reveals who she is, and she reveals her backstory, and we get to see the backstory within there. And then after they do their little fight thing, the villains and change the cartoony the characters, those characters, and then they get rid of the owl guy. He had no.
Yeah, what did he do?
What did he do?
And broke glass.
He
like
broke
an opera
glass.
singer.
This is what they should have just got rid of that.
Broke glass.
We did their designs. We did their designs, and then after that, have them fight them head to head, because I realized that some of their powers were actually matching the other Incredibles.
Like the Crusher
right?
dude.
Now that was pretty awesome. Like the brick dude was beating down Mr. Incredible. You had the void was like when she was punching right through the voids, and she was like losing for a little bit until Violet was fighting who was Violet fighting?
Void.
No, she wasn't fighting Void. It was
She
like
did fight somebody else.
Violet was fighting Reflux, wasn't it? Oh no. What?
No, that was
yeah,
Dash.
she was fighting Reflux. Flash was fighting. Dash was fighting. Dash.
Lightning.
He was fighting the lightning dude, and
Violet was fighting lightning dude, wasn't it?
No. She was fighting.
What
Reflux.
scene
She had
are
her
you
shield
talking
open
about?
while he's shooting the lava.
Oh yeah, you're right.
So when he was fighting him, he defeated him real easy because that was an easy fight. He's fast. He could knock him down easily, and that's when everything started to change. And that was my problem because they didn't really have a head-to-head battle with each other for at least a long time because Dash got it like done that fast, and then Frozone came through, stopped the lava dude, and then everything just started winning like for them. But it didn't have that long-term fight in there, like let's say Avengers. What's it called Civil War, where they had that little fight in there. It didn't have that long-term fight. It had a short-term fight, which was cool, but it wasn't
memorable.
It wasn't memorable. You know what I'm saying?
They had to do that because, like you said, the family was separate, so they had to keep on bouncing back in between. Here's the parents, here's the children.
But that makes it different, though. This is, like he said, a repeat of the first one in many forms. Just like it's basically Elastigirl's turn to go out and shine.
As long as it's different, it makes it way better. Because if you have that in alone, that's like showing a family together. They may be losing together, but over time they would win if they kept going. But
that could be good for the third. That could be an Incredibles trilogy.
The third one, they'll keep the family together because you have to keep in mind that
wait another 14 years for it?
No.
I'll be old by then.
What I would have done. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just saying that Elastigirl and Mr. Incredible were still trying to keep it a secret from even though they figured it out fast, they were still trying to keep it a secret from the children. So they had to go out, and also they were trying to protect their children. So that's why they were separated.
They should have came up with something else for that.
In my opinion,
it made it too separate.
I would have took this to a whole nother level. Incredibles 2, like he said, I would have included the entire family throughout the entire. But what I would have done is I would have hurt somebody in the family, somebody hard, either Violet or it would probably be one of the children.
What about Jack? Because he has the most powers anyway, so he probably would be
Jack
more
escape. Jack can go to another dimension.
That's too much. Yeah, I think hurting a baby, that's too much for a Disney movie.
Yeah. I mean, they're already cursing and drinking.
I would have hurt one of the. I would have made, because if you hurt and take one of the family members out, it's going to bring the family closer to protect. I wouldn't do it. That's too. I want something that's going to impact you, like with Infinity War. I'm gonna bring that back because it's
stick with the first one. How did the first one impact you?
The first one, it impacted me because I couldn't guess what was about to happen. I saw superheroes. Every kid wants to be a superhero. And I was like, yo, this is crazy. It's funny. I want to be an Incredible. And then the superhero that we thought had the villain that we thought had a small part came back and was the main plot. He was that dude, and he literally killed other superheroes. Gazer beam. So he was real life about that business. He brought Mr. Incredible into his island to fight a monster just so he can make it stronger to kill Mr. Incredible.
Because he was smart. The villain in Incredibles 2 was dumb smart.
Exactly.
Smart.
So
she did not.
That's how I would change it. So one of the things, I would make them close ranks and take their family into make them cleave to their family more. If you hurt somebody into their family, they're gonna come together because now they're trying to make sure it's real life. They would be protective because they have to go and get this person who took out one of my people. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not even. What if we don't even have to bring? What if we just hurt? What if we kill Frozone?
No.
I got you saying with
What
that.
if he killed Frozone?
No, you can't kill the only black guy.
Yeah, but
It's gonna be a stereotype movie.
yeah, but still, he's the only other
One of the
superhero.
stereotype
He's
movies.
so close to the family.
What about kill Edna?
No.
Nah, she makes it
Frozone.
close for them.
It doesn't matter. What if you kill
You
Edna?
You saying kill someone?
Kill somebody that the character that we all love Frozone. We all love Edna. If we hurt one of them, and the movie it has now just become real. I'm gonna go back to what I was saying about Infinity War. They dropped the fucking ball. I'm sorry. Can I curse?
Go ahead, man.
They dropped the freaking ball, so you can cut it out. They dropped the freaking ball because we know there's a sequel to Homecoming Spider-Man. We know there's going to be another Guardians of the Galaxy. We know there's going to be another Black Panther. You killed these people. It hit hard, but
Not hard enough.
the scene that showed Spider-Man, I don't want to go. I don't want to
that
go.
got me.
That was one of the top 5 scenes of the entire movie
Because they set it up prior.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it didn't hit home enough. It didn't hit home hard enough because we know there's going to be a sequel.
They shouldn't have said anything about
They
any
shouldn't.
sequels.
If I'm Marvel, I'm not saying anything about any Black Panther 2. I'm not saying anything about anything
They ruined it for themselves.
because now we know all those people they have to come back.
Bring it back to Incredibles.
So Incredibles, if you do something like that, minus the marketing blemish, you make it real, not just for the audience, but for the people inside the film. I'm gonna make my villain is not gonna be somebody that's, I'm screensaver. My parents died because of this. I want them to have a real story. I genuinely hate supers.
Because
Y'all make me feel inferior.
I feel like it's kind of hard to make a person who would genuinely really hate supers, because why would you hate supers?
Syndrome.
Yeah.
I mean, but that
He hated it and he
could
said,
they really just do that over again? Then they would really be making the same movie.
No, but
already
how many banters did Syndrome have? He had one banter, and that was at the end when he thought he already won. But he didn't do the whole, I'm the villain, while he had everybody, I'm the villain, and I'm going to tell the whole story to give y'all time to come and kill me.
He thought he was the good guy in
Yeah.
the end. The fact that he had that kind of dimension where he thought he was the actual good one and the supers were the bad ones, who was separating the normal people from the supers,
He was
Killmonger.
He was Killmonger.
You know what I did not like? I'm gonna tell you
I can see
something.
your relation.
I'm gonna tell you something that I really did not like about Incredibles 2 is that from the first story, it pretty much had a whole entire newspaper and all this stuff about superheroes who could fly with capes dying. And at the end of Incredibles, you're seeing superheroes flying with capes. I was like, come on, y'all didn't fix this problem here? Make the capes shorter.
I mean, this
Edna's not
did
making
take off.
everybody
This did
capes.
take place right after the first one, so maybe there wasn't enough time to get
the
that.
thing is that it's been in the news for so long. It was talking about it prior. Like, this was a reoccurring thing. Like, they kept going through it on the first one, like, death by this, death by that. She was
Edna
like,
said it.
like,
Edna made a whole conversation about it when Mr. Incredible.
so no more capes. But these guys are wearing capes.
Maybe they just wanted a cape.
Majority of everybody else weren't wearing capes, and it doesn't help you anyway.
Tend off on
Air
the case.
resistance wise.
Because we can talk about Incredibles 2 apparently for a good
Yeah,
minute.
we can.
But I think we got the majority of what our thoughts are on the movie, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Food time.
that being said, Miss Jupiter, where can we find you? Oh, you can tell the camera. I know. Yeah, we kind of I was looking. Oh my gosh, this is almost an hour.
Well, I'm Jupiter. You can find me on Instagram at JupiterRed with 2 D's _. And yeah, that's pretty. And I have a YouTube channel, but I don't post, so oh well.
I got the same problem.
Exactly.
I post something just recently about Kingdom Hearts, but look, my name is Wolfie. You want to check me out sometimes. I got like the my other channels. I don't got other channels. I ain't got no other YouTube channels, but I got other type of what's it called social media sites like Instagram. Got that Twitter. I got that Facebook. I got that DeviantArt. I got all the pages. Just check me all out. I got all of them. They're all pretty much named the same thing. Just type in Mega Wolfie. You're gonna see all my artwork.
How do you spell that?
MEGA space WOLFIE. The thing is, if you want to do commissions, your boys is like opening commissions right now, so help a brother out, you know, in the eyes of an angel kind of commercial, you know, just like bring on that little song in the background and just have me begging you guys. All right, that's it. Help a brother.
You know, first name the, second name greatest. You can find me on social media at Rai'Vaun, Raivaun. That's on my Instagram. Eric Rai'Vaun on my Facebook, ERIC, no K.
Okay, that's cool. You can find me on all social media platforms under Baroque Baroko, BROQE, BROKO. Guys, we want to know what you thought about Incredibles 2. Do you agree with our opinions? Because I feel like we kind of shredded this movie a little bit more than I thought. I thought it was going to be more pros than cons.
Because you got more opinions.
It sucked!
You had your opinion.
That's true.
Then you got more opinions from everybody else.
So with that being said, do you agree with them? Do you disagree? Whatever it is, let us know in the comment section below. And guys, thank you again for tuning in to Movies on Our Minds. We will see you next time.
Harry Potter forever. Wakanda forever.
Does he say this every time?
You can, yeah.